Morning, another morning on the Thames, and that lovely sense of anticipation to see what the river has left behind now that the tide is going out. I'm trying a different area today which I haven't been to for several years. I'm not expecting as many really old items, but I'm hoping for some decent post-medieval pottery, so we will see what turns up. Plenty of foreshore exposed by the tide. Quite a nice view. This is the heart of the old industrial area of the river, though I don't think many of the warehouses are used as warehouses anymore. We're in Wapping, and across the river is Rotherhithe, so if we have time we'll pop over there as well. Okay, first finds, there's a little pipe here. It is broken, sadly, but by the shape and size I'd say that's an 18th century pipe, so that's promising. Some very industrial looking pottery around. I think this might be something to do with sugar mould making, because it's got that sort of white residue inside it, and so we will see. I think it's probably part of a sugar mould. Two interesting things here. So, as I thought, there's a lot of post-medieval redware on this stretch of the foreshore. There's quite a nice chunk here, so let's just tease that out. Yeah, it's got a nice profile there. Post-medieval redware, sort of solid industrial domestic items, glazed. They tend to survive well because they're normally quite thick and chunky. So I've no idea what that is from, but some sort of container. But also, I've just noticed down here is a little bit of something. I think it's a bit of coral. This was not native to the Thames, but is brought on ships as ballast from way, way away. So that's quite a nice, interesting find. I think I'll keep that little bit. A little plain piece of tin glazed earthenware, otherwise known as Delft, recognisable by the very worn glaze and the buff earthenware body underneath. So that's encouraging that there might be some older stuff on this beach here. So a lovely looking patch of foreshore here, lots of bits of brick, tile, pottery, post-medieval redware, and a very nice pipe, 18th century pipe. Sadly no markings, but it is complete, so I don't always pick up pipes, but I think I will take that one home. Why not? Just found a teeny tiny piece of very, very thin porcelain, no doubt shattered to bits by the tides. Hand painted, no idea how old that is, but it's so thin it must be Chinese, I would think. And then this is a curiosity, it's a flint in the shape of a pipe. So that is brilliant, that is. Another bit of tin glazed ware just sitting there. There's some nice decoration. Oh yeah, it was decorated both sides, but as I say, the glaze is very fragile and most of it's worn off the back of that. But it's a nice piece with some polychrome, different coloured decoration, so that's a nice thing to find. Moving on, let's see if we can see something sticking out of the mud here. This looks like, I'm hoping, a bit of white salt glazed stoneware, which it is. Let's just wash it down. More exciting pottery here, we'll pick that up in a second. Yes, that is a beautiful bit of plate. So salt glazed stoneware, made from about 1710 to 1770, when creamware and other earthenwares really took over the market, but often with a moulded edge to it. You can tell salt glaze normally has a very slightly sort of pimply surface. I'll have a look at it when I've washed. It could of course be earthenware, because they did make earthenware plates in this style as well towards the 1760s onwards, but that's definitely 18th century, whatever it is, so I'm quite happy with that. Let's go back to that other bit of oh, there's all sorts of stuff here. That's great. Here we are. So this bit here looks like hand painted porcelain. Oh dear, luckily it had a soft landing. So yes, that's sure 18th, 19th century. That's an interesting find nonetheless. Pick up plastic from the night's revels before, take that home with me. This one also I think is porcelain. Oh yes, that's really nice, isn't it? A lovely design on it, fence or bridge, and some sort of design on the outside. So this nice little bit there. Just found the base of a handle of German stoneware, jug or bottle, Bartman probably, so let's hope we can find a few more bits, maybe a bit of face mask if we're really lucky, or a rosette, that'd be nice. So it's this one, 50s to early 18th century. I'm not the only living thing on the foreshore this morning. We have some geese to keep us company, noisy geese. It's difficult to know how old some of these bits are. I mean, they could be quite recent, but I'm sure that's porcelain. And I think that brown outside is sort of something modelled on Batavian ware, which would be 18th century. Brown exterior and then blue painted interior. So I think I'll be indiscriminate with what I pick up and just do some research when I get home. The old glass on the river gets this beautiful iridescence. Can be a bit flaky, it obviously flakes off, but it is very, very attractive. Here is an interesting piece of pot. Very thin, probably Staffordshire, 18th century, with a little bit of looks like trailed decoration on it, so that's rather nice. I think I'll definitely take that one home. That's the sort of thing I was hoping to find. A little bit of brass here, no idea what it's from. Sadly quite a lot of plastic on this part of the foreshore, but we will take it all home and bin it before it gets out to sea. And a metal find. I'm not sure it's focusing very well on that. So here we are. It's a little lead seal which would have been attached to a bag or a bolt of cloth or something like that. It has got some words on it, MN and a number. Probably 19th century, that one, so it's interesting. That's another bit of salt glazed stoneware plate edge, which is nice to find. plain and simple. Most of the pottery on display in museums is decorated, but a lot of the stuff that people used in days gone by was very humble and undecorated. That goes for stoneware, delft, and greenware, etc. Now we are joined by two more geese. Let's hope they're friendly. I just pulled that out of the mud. It was that way round, so very plain, but it's got a lovely transfer printed scene on it, very sort of chinoiserie, Chinese inspired, so it could be early to mid 19th century, I guess. It's always intriguing to see something edge on in the mud. You wonder how much is there and what it is exactly. So let's pull that out. There isn't a lot of it there. And it's very plain and simple. Never mind, you win some, you lose some. Okay, let's have another go on this one. There's a bit more of it there. I think it's actually plastic and not china at all. No matter. Nice chain there. And the base of something huge here. Pull it out. Stoneware, probably Victorian. Flagon or something like that perhaps. Nice chunk anyway. And a couple of interesting finds I can spot here. We have the lovely bit of slipware there, made in Staffordshire, made in Bristol, made in London, right through to 1830, right through from the 17th century. And a bit of German stoneware, Festivaled stoneware. Probably with that rim shape it's going to be a chamber pot. A huge number of chamber pots were imported from Festivaled in the 18th century, but it's nice cobalt decoration, give it the blue there, and some of them were decorated with lions. So I found a lion before, we might find one today if we're lucky, but that's a nice piece of German stoneware. Base of something yellow glazed here. That's very nice, you know, humble Victorian jug or mug with some banding, yellow glazed. Here we have some industrial archaeology, a boat hook, spike there and the hook bit there. Iron, of course. Some people love to take these home and clean them up. They do an incredible job of cleaning them up and making them look almost new. But not for me. I haven't got space in my bag. Too much nice pottery, so I'm leaving that for somebody else. An old wine bottle with a big kick up in the base. Not probably older than Victorian, I should think. A big rim of a pot, probably Victorian in age. I've just seen this little thing here, which is actually metal, and it's a bit of shrapnel from a shell, probably an anti-aircraft shell. And obviously this area of Docklands had a real hammering, 1940, 1941, another great fire of London you could call it, and this is a little memento of the Second World War, fired against German bombers and fighters from Wapping to Hitler with love. Wonderful. here we see mysteriously sticking up out of the edge of the water a pipe bowl. So let's pull that one out, see. Oh yes, a very nice one. So that also 18th century. The same design was used for quite a long time, so most of the 18th century pipe bowls were of this design. No markings on it. Sadly, you get the letters of the maker's name sometimes, or a heel stamp on the earlier ones, but it's a nice complete pipe anyway. A nice day for 18th century pottery today, I'm delighted. Another bit of plate edge there with a very typical wheat ear design moulded into it. So again, sort of these were made from 1710 to about 1770. The pot base here, stuck in the mud. A pipe with it. Lots of bits of pottery. That's very pretty. Another bit of porcelain, I think, with a hand-painted design. Well stuck in the mud. And up it comes. All sort of oval shaped, very interesting. Complete base. Oops. We'll wash it off and see if it has any markings or decoration to it. It's absolutely caked inside with all sorts of broken glass and a pin even, which is quite nice. So I think I'll clean that off at home, but maybe it's a sauce boat or something like that. It's quite nice. This little bit of pottery with blue painted feather edge, blue painted, maybe green painted sometimes. Started to be made about 1780, very popular up to about 1820, but also made well into the 20th century as well by different people. This looks like a coin and a pin, and it is a coin, and that's exciting because I'm not very good at finding coins unlike other mudlarkers, but I think that looks like, yes, I think that's George II. So that's a George II halfpenny there. It might be possible to read the date, but it will be sometime. Oh, there's Britannia on the other side. Just have a look and see if I can see the date. Can't see a date, but it's going to be 1740s, 1750s, something like that. So 18th century British halfpenny from the Thames foreshore at Wapping. Delighted with that.